Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Three Men on the Record. This week we have, I guess we have a fourth. Um, so everyone say hello to Rush Records,
Hello,
aka
hello.
Paul Bunyan, aka Beard, aka Chris, and the father of five boys. Also,
Yes,
so we brought him back. I don't know why, because he cheated the last time he was on, and hopefully we
this
can
is
keep him
why
in line
the
this week.
beard brought
And
me back.
welcome
I feel sorry
everyone
for
in.
JD.
Everybody else said no, Chris. That's why you're here.
All right.
I'm
So,
honored. I'm honored to be here. Thanks, guys, for having me.
so do you have any coffee ready for us to buy?
I do not. We are woefully behind in that regard. But yeah, we do roast our own coffee and we do sell it from time to time on Whatnot. Um, but we are behind. I'm actually trying to sign up with another distributor for coffee beans, so I'm going to try something a little bit different. But we're working through that process.
Well, we'll look
So
for let us know and we'll let everyone here know.
yeah. Don't let them
Um,
bully you.
so this is the part of the show where we talk about news or new releases. And what news do we have? I know Jake has something to talk about.
Very bummed about it. For those of you who aren't aware, Steve Cropper passed away yesterday. One amazing musician, one heck of a guitar player, great songwriter too, from Booker T and the MGs. A lot of you might be familiar with him as part of the Blues Brothers band. Also co-wrote Otis Redding's Dock of the Bay. Big part of the Stack sound. We lost an icon. We lost one heck of a guy. Just amazing. I mean, I grew up on a lot of the Stack stuff. A lot of Booker T and the MGs. In fact, I was talking to the guys about it. I'm like, if there's a record I would tell you to get is to get McLemore Avenue, which is more or less Booker T and the MGs version of Abbey Road, which is all instrumental. I've always loved that record. And they were huge Beatle fans. Donald Duck Dunn just loved Paul McCartney, loved him, loved the way he played bass. I mean, they complemented each other so well. I just always thought that was cool.
I'll have to check out that record.
Donald Duck Dunn.
I'm trying to think. I didn't really see anything big on like music news. But again, we always talk about new releases coming up, and of course, we have the Three-Legged Dog, Malice in Chains coming up, but that's not until the end of January. But next week is the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here. There's a 3 LP set coming out, and of course, Recovering the Satellites comes out. Counting Crows next week.
Be getting that.
And what else? Nick Drake. Oh, that's an old news. Never mind. But Sturgill Simpson, if you know Sturgill Simpson, he's getting a Rhino Reserve pressing. There's some blues stuff in Rhino Reserves coming up. Oh no, jazz. Sorry, jazz. But Rush, you Rush fans out there, I don't understand it, but Rush fans, we have Feedback coming. That's from Rhino. Also, Rush's Snakes and Arrows, and supposedly getting a remaster, which, from what I've heard, has been desperately needed. Even talk of what feedback in some of them, the feedback, so it wasn't a great recording. Gordon Lightfoot is getting a Rhino Reserve. If you could read my mind, that's coming out January 9th.
They don't have one for Sundown?
Not as of yet, but they do have the Quadio Blu-ray audio of that.
A lot of times on the Rhino Reserve, they do like the second or third most popular album by an artist. I don't know if they're reserving those for potential maybe Rhino hi-fis down the road.
Maybe that could be very much what they're doing.
But that Sturgill Simpson, if you haven't tried out Sturgill, that's a great record, and I'm sure they'll do a great job pressing that on Rhino Reserve. I do recommend listening to that.
And there's a bunch of Depeche Mode coming out tomorrow. Memento, there's a couple different ones coming out. Charlie Mingus is another Rhino Reserve that's coming out on January 9th, which, again, we're big fans of the Rhino Reserves here. There was a couple other ones. Of course, the band's coming out next week with the best of, which Jake has one in his store. Do you still have that? The best of the band? It's a great album, guys. There's some Rhino. Well, the Rhino Hi-Fi is the John Coltrane Jazz coming out of the Rhino Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
Tower Power Back to Oakland is a Rhino Reserve.
Yeah.
A pre-order on a Megadeth self-titled on Red coming. But there's a bunch of different things. Here's John Coltrane. This is another Rhino Hi-Fi. Coltrane's getting a couple.
He got a whole box set.
Yeah. And
Mono too, I think.
Dust Brothers Fight Club soundtrack coming out again. And of course, Bad Bunny, who's been pretty big, has one coming out in a couple months. And I was also looking at the top 10 Spotify song, or top 9 Spotify songs for this year. And who do you think's number 1 in a Spotify top 9?
Don't know. Taylor Swift?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Bad Bunny
Hmm.
is number 1.
Really?
Taylor Swift is number 2. The Weeknd is number 3. Drake number 4. Kendrick Lamar is 6. Bruno Mars 7. Ariana Grande 8. And then there's another one. I don't know his name. It's Arijit Singh. Arijit was number 9. And I have no idea who that person is.
Very upset that Oasis is not on that list.
We all
I
are.
am
for
I am
you.
not surprised that they are not on that list.
Yeah. And I'm really interested to know where vinyl went. I was looking at a stat about vinyl in 2010 was 2.8 million copies made, and it jumped in 2020 to 27.5. And in 2024 was 43.6 million vinyl records were sold. So what is 2025 going to be? Is it going to be higher or lower, guys? What do you think?
I think it's going to be lower. Not by
Lower.
much, but a little bit.
I don't know. Oh, because all the Taylor's probably got half of those.
Well, she's what I mean, whether she releases an album in a year, it does skew the stats one way
Yeah.
or the other.
Big time. Big time. So this is where we now talk about stuff that we've picked up this week. So what have we got, guys? Anyone have anything they want to show that they've now have in their personal or even in your own stores? What do you got?
Wow.
And Scott, you can go first.
Well, I got yet another press of In Excess Kick, one of my favorite albums of all time. This is the Mo-Fi. Been looking for it for a while. Finally picked it up. It's 33 RPM too. And then I came across this Iggy Pop Raw Power. This is early 80s repress, but still in the shrink. So I thought, oh, that one's going in the personal collection.
Gonzo, do you have anything? Do you have another Gary Wright Dreamweaver coming?
I mean, I have 10 of them already for the Whatnot giveaway whenever the hell I do it. But working on that, I'm obviously going to do 10 Dreamweaver giveaways because I think it's a wonderful album. I think it's highly underrated. I think it's a staple that everyone should have. And had some friends kindly enough go out and try to find, the cleanest copies they could get their hands on to do it. So excited when we get that going.
So
But-
that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, we all have albums that anytime we walk into a record store or if we're shopping on Whatnot and we see it, we always feel compelled to buy it. And I know that 3 of us have that compulsion. I can't speak for Chris, but I think Chris does. I'm sure he sees
oh,
a
yeah,
rush.
We're picking
He's,
up.
he's all over it.
I have many moving pictures.
I was going to say, there's always just one, right? I have a few. I've got Gary Wright Dreamweavers. I have Gordon Lightfoot Sundowns, which today I found a Gordon Lightfoot Sundown in the shrink, and I always get excited. For whatever reason, I see these things in shrink wrap. I just get pumped, and the record is very close to excellent condition. So I just like finding.
April
I love finding them in the wild, and I love finding them taken, decent care of, because a lot of those records, as we know, right, they get played and beat up,
Yeah.
not really taken care of. That same thing with Steve Winwood back in the High Lifes.
I'm
right?
always picking up Steve Woodward's, Don Henley's, all those. I'm always picking
Always.
up.
Robert
Same.
Palmer, Riptide is
Yeah,
another
Robert
one.
Palmer's.
Yeah, dude, I just
Yeah.
stocked one today, which you can't probably see, but behind me, believe it or not, I have everything from Scott when we went to the convention in Austin and some of the other stuff that I've had laying around. I have got it all set up alphabetically. So
Wow.
it took some doing, but my daughter helped me out, and
Did you do a lot of like A, B, C, D?
I used every finger and some. Absolutely.
That's a
So
lot. I
that's-
haven't even got to all those records yet. I mean, some of them are still down here waiting to be
The
cleaned.
guy who has 3 ultrasonic cleaners and he hasn't finished cleaning them yet.
I've cleaned a lot of records.
I haven't even unboxed my second one yet. And I'm still deciding whether or not I just pull a shark and I pull a Sean and maybe do it as a giveaway on the Dreamweaver show.
Someday. So Chris, what do you have new?
So I got recently a MoFi, a Fleetwood Mac self-titled. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep it or move it. I don't know. We'll see. But
It's getting a
excited.
reissue. It's getting a MoFi reissue, isn't it? I think a one.
But this is
maybe?
so this would be a 79 MoFi. So that's what I recently got, and I also got a couple Tone Poets, and but they're in the other room. I didn't grab them, and I recently purchased the new Lettuce album. So if you don't know Lettuce, they have a new album coming out called Cook, and so I purchased that. It's not here yet, but it's on its way.
What genre is that?
Lettuce is like a mix
Prog,
between
right?
jazz, funk, and rock.
Okay.
So they're like a jam band,
It's
kind
gonna
of
be like chopped
a-
salad.
yeah. But yeah, they've been around for a while, and I'm one record shy of having their entire discography. So
It's like a Robin Trower and Jack Bruce
So
BLT.
my question with
Yeah.
that Fleetwood Mac: how many MoFis have the MoFi label on the bottom? I've seen someone. I've
Yeah, I
seen
don't
it
know.
twice. People selling those not as MoFis because they didn't look at the bottom.
yeah, that's true. On the back, it's on the top, but they ditched it probably
Yeah,
because of
weird.
the logo, right? So they
Maybe.
moved it to the bottom so they
I
didn't
think
mess
they
up the
do
cover.
that for artistic aesthetics.
Yeah.
I've seen some MoFis that were not standard, and I think it's always because of the artwork when
Yeah.
they don't do it that way.
Yeah. Lettuce is a real band, Jeremy. Lettuce is a real band. Check it out. Get on YouTube, listen
Hey,
to
just
them or
making
whatever.
The
I
guy
forgot to
can't count, so I don't know how reliable he
I'm
is.
gonna.
So I don't have them to show, but I did get an RSD, the band Jericho, which is a great cover of Atlantic City. I actually think the band's cover of Atlantic City is better than Springsteen's original. It's a highly underrated record. Obviously, Robbie Robertson isn't on it, but the remaining members of the band, Richard Manuel's already, and he'd been dead for several years when they did it, but he is on one track that they had recorded at some time that he did make the record. So I'm very excited about that. I'm still cussing Sean out.
What did I do?
Well, you're the reason
nice.
why I like went a little nuts.
Yeah, Joe knows.
Oh yeah. Well, we picked up the Beatles mono $65 at a really good price. So
I did.
that's awesome.
Anybody get the Big Head Todd?
I did get it. I got it from Bruce.
Yeah, I'm still
Bruce
looking.
had it, and someone bid me up a little bit on it, but I did get it.
It comes around. They always do. So I picked up one for my store and one for my store, one for me, one for Thomas. If you guys remember the No Doubt,
It's a
for some
great
reason
album.
somehow the picture discs are kicking around a bit, and I have a couple available if anyone's interested in these. Sound wise, there's some noise in the background, but it's pretty cool. And I don't think Tragic Kingdom has not gotten a decent press, so it is what it is. I also got this week. This is Leo Nocentali. This is the guitarist from the Meters. He also, at age 14, he played with I was going to say Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding. At 14, he was the backing guitarist for Otis Redding.
Hmm.
And it's also on this cool. Also, Alan Toussaint is also on it, and it's on like a Jamaican flag colors. So that's pretty cool. And I had never listened to him before, other than with the meters. And I also got another Dirty Heads. I'm a big fan of the Dirty Heads. It's kind of sort of hip hopish, but ska reggae-ish kind of thing. It's a cool little vibe. Some of you might know it. The Sloth's Revenge is one of the songs they sang on one of the newest albums. I did not skip Scott.
No, Scott went first, Joe.
So that's kind of what I got. And then there's always new stuff in my store that's coming up. I do have the best James Bond songs coming soon. And the reason I got it is because Jake, next week, I think we're doing it next week, top 5 James Bond songs. So I picked up that album so that
I'm excited.
So that I can show you and he can promote my record by telling you the top 5 Bond
I'm
songs.
pretty sure the next 2 weeks I'm off the hook on the 84. So either Sean boots the Billy Joel tonight. If not, I am sure that Jake is going to lay an egg on the Bond top 5.
Nothing will ever shy away from Van Halen top 5.
To this day, when I run that record, when I run 1984, I always say the third best Van Halen record.
We go lies.
It's
Lies every time.
Ridiculous. Look, the yacht rock, like I said, that is tough because we all agree with yacht rock, it's more based on songs than albums. So that was a tough feat. It got done, but it was tough. But I think I'm excited because I think there are going to be some that agree, and there are going to be some that just
Well, again,
not like it.
And we've learned with the Van Halen, it's really what songs you knew first, and then it branches from there. And what you knew first is usually it seemed to always be what you like. So that's why we all have different opinions on that, I think, because a lot of it's all great stuff. It's just when in our life did we hear it?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. I will tell you this. Tom Jones' Thunderball is not going to make the list. All right. We'll keep it at that.
All right. He revealed a little bit of his hand for next week. But how many Bond films were there, Jake? How many Bond film songs are there that you had to look at?
So I think Bond films in total, I should know this, but I think there's like 26.
It's a lot. It's high 20s. Yeah.
It's high 20s. So, and I guessed on that. Someone could fact check me on it, but I can tell you this. The stuff from the 60s and 70s, you'll see, but there's some Bond stuff. As soon as I listen to it, I'm like, nope. 25. So I was close. So I said what, 26? So I was right there. But there were some Bond songs that actually surprised me, where I was like, damn, I really didn't think this was going to get anywhere close. There are going to be a few honorable mentions, but I think the top 5 is nailed down. I'm eager and excited.
And it's fun. It is fun. Like with what I'm doing this week, which we'll show after, we'll show me my top 5. But the amount of time we put into it and really re-listen to stuff that we didn't realize, it's amazing how much stuff there is. All right. So now this is the next part of the show where we go into the songs we have, the part of our Essential 500. We each have 3 titles this week, and we're going to let our guest go first with one of his picks, and hopefully it's a single, not you might try to add a record to it.
What?
Sean, keep a finger on the eject button,
because I can eject him. So
what are you talking about?
He's out of here. I just got to tell the story. Now, he did again try to slip 4 records into 3 slots.
He did again,
and I was just aghast. I was like, Chris, my God, you work for a bank. Can't you count to 3?
But see, the thing is, this is why I know this is how he has to behave. Now, watch, guys, watch this magic. Boop, gone.
See, yeah. All right.
See, so he has to behave.
All right. So, the Chemical Brothers is my first album, and so the Chemical Brothers, they were from 1997. By the way, Jimmy Buffett is way harder to understand than Rush. I just want to make that clear. I don't understand the fascination. But okay, moving on. Chemical Brothers is my one album that I'm going to show here tonight.
What is that Fat Boy Slim sneaking out the back,
What?
you traitor?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I was torn between Chemical Brothers and Fat Boy Slim. They both are fantastic electronic techno big beat albums. Chemical Brothers won out because they were kind of like the first. They were the ones that led the way from 1997. They had, Block Rockin' Beats was the big one off the album. Setting Sun, which I admit I actually do like a Noah Gallagher song. So Jake, there's the one song.
Oh my gosh!
That I do like that he was a part of. So
wow.
this is an original LP it's a 2 LP from 1997. Look at how clean that thing is.
There is a God.
Very fortunate to have it. Very thankful. Anyway, great album. They really kind of forged the way with that big beat techno music. So I mentioned Block Rockin' Beats, Setting Sun. Where Do I Begin? Where Do I Begin was in the movie Vanilla Sky. Big part of that. Now, Fat Boy, really around the same time as what the Chemical Brothers were doing, he took that big beat sound and ran with it. So that's why I put them together. And as a kid, I say kid, it was 1997. So I was just married and I had this in my car, as you can see by the cracked case. But I would listen to Fatboy Slim right after this. It was like back to back, interchange, driving around Metro Detroit, working at a law firm as a courier. These were my get through the traffic of Metro Detroit type soundtrack stuff. So in my mind, they're linked. So yeah. Dig Your Own Hole solidified the Chemical Brothers' status as pioneers in electronic music. The album received significant acclaim from both critics and audiences and praised for its electric sound. There's also mixes of like so many different genres. So you had like a psychedelic element to it, electronic element. There's even some jazz elements mixed in. So I highly recommend Chemical Brothers. It's also listed in the top. So in some lists, they say it's like in the top 49 of all-time albums. Is this album right here? So
somebody did a list of the 49 greatest records of all time.
Well, where did I see that? It was like listed. I saw it today. I was looking. I didn't make the note, but it was like in the top 100 albums. This was listed as number 49 of all. I don't know validity. I don't know.
We were talking before, and part of what we do here is we want to bring diversity, right? And I always ask everybody, well, what makes it an essential record? And Chris did a good job explaining to me that like he just said, this led to even a bigger growth in the sound area. So although he was playing it before the show, it might not be my thing, but it was interesting.
Yeah, and it's a big part of like pop culture and modern movies and music that pulls from that type of record, that particular record. Like they really laid down the multi-tracking, the big beat sound, all that stuff. It really was. So Beastie Boys, obviously, with Paul's Boutique, talk about mixing and all that stuff. Then you got Chemical Brothers right up there, and then you got Fatboy Slim. Those are the big three in the techno electronic world, in my opinion. And so that's why it made my list.
All right. Awesome.
All right, Chris.
Scott, you want to go next?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It also won a Grammy.
A Grammy. Nice.
It won a Grammy for Best Electronic Dance Album. So it wasn't just...
Whenever I rave, I put that record on.
Well, first up this week, I'm going to go with Midnight Oil, Diesel and Dust. And why I love this record so much, and I think everyone should give it a chance and hopefully own it, is it, I'm a big fan of Australian artists and New Zealand too. You know, I got one artist in. I got Crowded House. I guess technically we would call them a New Zealand band, but you know, just like our brothers to the north that have a little different take on rock, so does New Zealand and Australia. You know, we've had a myriad of bands. We had the Soft Rockers, Air Supply, and Little River Band come out of there, and Iggy Azalea and Tame Impala, more modern artists. But I think a representative of a time period from the 80s, we had The Fix, we had Men at Work, and then a little bit later in the 80s, we had Midnight Oil kind of explode on the scene. I think this is probably the best album of those 80s Australian bands is this record right here. So good. And it's almost when you listen to it, it has maybe it's just because I'm associating the movie with it, but it has a tribal sound to it, like Mad Max-ish, and there's a lot of talk about war and guns and all this on here. So that's a big theme, and it was a pretty big seller. 1 million, did 1 million in the U.S., 2 million worldwide. Of course, led by the big hit "Beds Are Burning," which still gets played today. But the Dead Heart, Dream World were singles. And when I've listened to this album 3 times this week to get ready for the show, and there's only one song, Arctic World, on this record I don't like. But it's some of it is just great songs, like War Kurna is a great song. Put Down That Weapon is a great song. The Dead Heart, Bull Royer. And if you have the CD, you get Gun Barrel Highway too, which fits in with that larger conflict theme they have going on. But just absolutely a terrific album. That's what makes, you got great singles, great songs, right? And it has like 3 or 4 of those, but every other song is interesting. There's something about it you're going to go, this has a kind of cool sound to it.
The writing on this album is superb.
Has anybody found it on blue vinyl yet?
Hmm?
Is this the one that was on blue vinyl that I showed you that day?
That was the next record, Blue Sky Mining.
Yeah, and it was on blue vinyl.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now,
Great record. It's a great record. I agree with you, Scott.
Now, and also, if you're in Australia, you're as far away from the Arctic as you could possibly be, pretty much. I don't think they'd have a good song about anything Arctic.
Yeah, that one just, I think they went for it. Sometimes you go big, you swing big, and you miss. They just missed on that one, which there's probably people that like the song, but that really stood out to me because I like every other song on the record except for that one.
Cool. All right, Jake, you are up.
I bought that album on cassette when it first came out. And of course, you know how I found out about Midnight Oil? MTV, baby.
That's right.
MTV, yeah.
If it wasn't for MTV.
Shout out to Gurus, Tom Peters. We got an Australian in tonight.
That's awesome. All right, first record up for the night. Where did that come from?
Yeah, boot him, Shark.
Well,
I think that was on the list of 49 worst albums ever issued.
Well, we're talking about the king of angst, as I like to say, Trent Reznor, a.k.a. 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. Release date, October 20th, 1989. I was just about a month and 7 days shy of my 12th birthday when this came out. And I remember my brother, every year for Christmas, my brother would always have a list of tapes or CDs that he wanted. And I remember when he asked my parents for this record, and a lot of the music that I got into, having an older brother, just hanging out in his room, I would listen to some very unique music. I first heard the Smiths because of my brother. I first heard Depeche Mode because of my brother. And I remember when he bought Pretty Hate Machine. album sold 4 million copies worldwide, did 3 million in the US alone. This was his debut record, which was crazy because he basically did everything on this. And this was on the TVT Records label, which he was very ticked off about the way they promoted the debut album. It had moderate success upon release, but I don't think it was promoted very well with TVT, which is why he ended up getting ticked and left and ended up getting a deal with Interscope. Obviously, because his records didn't get, his first album didn't get pushed, but given that this was an independent release, this thing sold extremely well, and the whole record is amazing. Just some of the songs in mention, you've got the ones that you're familiar with, which Head Like a Hole, Something I Can Never Have, Down in It. But I love Terrible Lie. I think my favorite song for the longest time was Kinda I Want To, and then That's What I Get. All great songs. It didn't win, any Grammys, but this album was ranked number 453 on Rolling Stone's top 500 albums. So this is a true essential on the list. And this really paved the way, y'all, for industrial rock. This was, in my opinion, really the first true industrial record. At least the first time I heard the word industrial used. But it's mean. The sound is mean. And I call him the king of angst because he had a lot of anger. I think a lot of this album had to do with breakups, heartbreak. I think, he had past relationships that failed. And I think early on in his life, he had a lot of struggles. And what's so awesome about Trent Reznor is he really put it all into his music. And this album really put industrial music in the genre, on the map. And it did get critical. I mean, it was critically acclaimed, even though it had moderate success at the very beginning. So, and this is still to date my favorite Nine Inch Nails record. I still don't think anything beats it.
Now, Stacey did present a Nine Inch Nails record, didn't she, recently?
She did.
Yeah.
There was an album, I forget, I think she texted me. There was an album that she told me about, but Johnny actually reached out to me too and said, hey, you want to go listen to this record if you haven't listened to it. It has a little bit of Pretty Hate Machine. It has Pretty Hate Machine feel to it. But Johnny agreed with me. He thinks that nothing beats Pretty Hate Machine. I don't think anything beats it. Downward Spiral is great. But I still feel that his first is his best. So that is my number one record to start the night.
All right. Awesome. Mine, I guys like how I like to kind of backwards into the name of the song, the album, but this came out in 2015. This kind of brought back, if you listen to country, it's gone super pop. And this artist resurgence really brought back the resurgence of traditional country music, or at least elements of it, because old country is long gone. He started off as a songwriter and then went off on his own. And this was his debut album, Chris Stapleton Traveler. Sold 3 million in the US, 4 million worldwide. He won a AMA, American Country Music Awards, New Male Artist of the Year. He won a Grammy Award for Best Country Album of the Year. It's soulful, it's country, it's Southern rock, and I love songwriters. I love listening to songwriters, and he is an amazing songwriter.
He's great. I agree.
And I didn't have time to research stuff he's written before he went solo, but he was a big, of course, if you're in Nashville and stuff, you're a songwriter first usually, and then hopefully you break to the next level. The singles on it were Tennessee Whiskey, Nobody to Blame, Fire Away, and Parachute. It peaked at number 1 on the country charts. Tennessee Whiskey was number 1, and I think most of you have listened to that song. Nobody to Blame was number 5, but it's a book. It's a story from song to song, you definitely is one you want to listen to all at once, because I mean it is just that great of an album. And again, it brought you back a little bit of, you get the Southern rock and just kind of great country songwriting songs that we used to get without all that extra poppy country.
It is interesting. I feel like maybe it was probably a strategic move, but having Tennessee Whiskey be his lead song was probably a stroke of genius, because it's strange about what's in mainstream country and what's out. And although he doesn't fit the mold of a lot of the bro country, which I cannot stand, he was accepted by Nashville commercially, which really helps with the sales. He sells 4 million copies. But when I listen to Chris Stapleton, I hear like old school country. I hear Allman Brothers. I hear a lot. If his lead single would have been White Horse, I don't know that he gets adopted quite the way he did with Tennessee Whiskey with mainstream country. But good for him. He's a great artist. He's always been a great songwriter. It's he's anti-typical current country star. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard it. I mean, I don't know how the albums fall, but it's a 2 LP. The first LP is amazing. The second LP is great, but I mean, it's just a great album, and I think you guys should give it a try. I know it's country, but it's got enough Southern rock, soul, bluesy vibe to it that I think anybody would really enjoy that.
And the reason the album's called Traveler, I heard him do an interview. Him and his wife were driving across country, and they were coming back they went to Arizona, and they wrote most of the record. His wife is in his band too, on the way there and back. And that's why they called it Traveler.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think, Chris, you're back up.
All right.
And back around.
So I did look up what list that was from while we were talking, and it was from a British magazine called Q. It was a music magazine. So they say whatever list they made, that was in the 49 out of 100 of albums to own. So there you go.
I looked it up too, and it was in my things to do Molly with.
So Chemical Brothers aren't getting much love here tonight, but hey, I think it belongs in a collection of
something into my drink top 20.
Hey, Chris, we respect everybody. You got it to the show. It made it in the show.
All right. So next up, we're getting ready to go see a phenomenal musician coming up, Jake and I, and
on the 12th,
on the 13th.
Thank you. 13th.
Make sure you go to the right date.
Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah. Local guy from Michigan here, not far from Lansing, Michigan. He's actually Portland or Ionia. It's kind of the same area there. But anyway, Billy Strings, Highway Prayers, I think needs to be in the collection of 500 records. Some people might say, oh, no, Home is the better record. I recognize that Home has won a Grammy, and it's fantastic. But Billy Strings, Highway Prayers, this came out in 2024. It was sold over 19,000 copies. And look at this. I got 2 of them, folks. So there you go. I've snuck in another double.
In a different way.
See how many records I can get into my list.
So I'm guessing there'll be one available.
Well, tell us about. I knew Billy Strings because he was on. What's the internet? Rick Beato.
Rick Beato.
He's technically gifted. He's unbelievable.
He is unfreaking believable. And the reason why I picked this one over Home is the album is fantastic, but the packaging, they went all out for this puppy. The booklet even looks like an owner's manual of the car. They put out a bunch of like promotional type stuff that's all related to car stuff. And being he's from Michigan, it's just kind of all ties together. And so all of it goes together. Like the booklet looks like it's an owner's manual from the car,
So cool.
They really did a great job. So Home is fantastic. I love Home. I think it's a great album, but then you also get to see this beautiful wax too. Look at that, just gorgeous the way that they did this. So anyway, so 2024 it came out. They sold 19,000 copies in the first week. It reached #1 on the Billboard top 10. First bluegrass record to do that in like 22 years. So it's unbelievable. Worldly, it's not really known how many he's sold worldly, but it's too new of an album. So I think some of those numbers and reports are slow coming in.
Yeah.
But you got 7 Weeks and Counting are the singles. Cabin Song and Leadfoot were the first 3 singles that came off of it. And then there's Treasures on the album. One of my favorite songs is Gild the Lily. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. And then Stratosphere Blues, I Believe in You is another great one. So he is a virtuoso. I agree with you, Flo Floyd. And Joe, yeah, you're right. He is an insane guitarist. If you watch any of his stuff on YouTube, any of his live stuff, and he is absolutely free of posting stuff on the internet. So you can go see any concert he has performed online. You can stream it, and he is all about getting the music out there for people to enjoy. He's not like shall we say the Eagles, who don't want you to have anything of their music related on playing on anything.
Oh, by the way, it was confirmed. Don Henley actually is the Grinch.
Not surprising. But yeah, Billy Strings, phenomenal musician, phenomenal record. All of his records are great, but this one eked out home just because of that. So he peaked at number 22 on the Billboard 200 when it came out, and he pushes the boundaries of so obviously it's bluegrass, but he is much more.
He does it all, man.
He's much more than bluegrass. He's doing jam band. He's doing psychedelic. He's doing spin grass, as they call it. And he knows it all. He can play the rock. He can play the bluegrass. He can play the jazz. He can play anything that you want to play. And he puts his touch on it and makes it just a very enjoyable listen. So if you're not familiar with Billy Strings, get out there, get his albums, and get to his concerts. Come down to Austin.
Chris, I'll give you kudos on you really met one of our objectives when we talk about, adding a record to the 500. One of the things we look at is, we're not going to pick our personal favorite record. We're going to look at things and try to expose people to broadly a lot of genres. And we always use the term accessibility. What's an accessible record? And I think with him, you could talk about, well, maybe you might think you're not into bluegrass, but if you give him a chance, you might find out you actually like a little bit of bluegrass.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, his
Phenomenal.
guitar play will pull you in.
Well, that's what's great about bluegrass and folk, right? Is it takes the guitar to an entirely different dimension, right? Like it now is. It's not like it's 3D in a way, right? You can really, the guitar just does so much more. That's what I love about folk. That's what I love about bluegrass, is because what you can do with your fingers, right and left hand, you can make that thing do so much.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult.
And I agree with Floyd. Floyd Bundy, as it is here. I'm so used to Flo Floyd. He is super humble about his playing. He's not like the give me the attention. He wants the focus to be on the band. That's why in their concerts, you'll see, Jake, they all line up and they all have their equal space on the stage. It's not about one guy in the center in the spotlight. It's the whole thing. And
where are we sitting?
We are sitting dead center, row 7, right in front of the mixer. Like,
I just want to see your the smile on your face when you got the seats.
I was so pumped. I always try to get right in front of the mixer if I can, because the mixer, that's where the sweet spot is in the stadium.
Where are we going to be for Rush next year?
We're going to be in Fort Worth, and we're going to be just to the right of the mixer. Sorry. I tried to get center, but they went so fast. So, but we'll still be very, very close to the mixer.
Yeah, because Chris will turn around and he will converse. He'll have a conversation. He'll probably be talking to the sound guys and not even listening to the music. He did that after David Gilmour's concert. We're walking off. He just had to.
I had to. It was like I enjoyed the concert so much to be outdoors and to
Did you
have this
tip him?
sound. I
Give him a
wanted to.
flag?
I think I wanted to. Yeah. Deep down. No, but we're outdoors and it sounded like we were in an indoor venue listening to a record. I mean, it was unfreaking
He did a
believable.
great job.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now Scott is up next with his choice.
All right. Well, so I was really torn on this. I updated the 500, and I was kind of looking through what do we not have on here, and I was like, oh, we do not have any glam metal, hair metal. I mean, Guns N' Roses is on there, but I don't quite put them in there. I think they were not truly grouped with the rest of these groups that we're going to talk about, and so my favorite record from that period, I think the best record from that period, is not extremely popular. I think it's Cinderella, Heartbreak Station. I think that's the album that Aerosmith probably wished they made because it's not very glammy sounding. So instead, well, I should say I considered another album. I was looking at Warrant, Cherry Pie, because I believe Warrant pulled off a something really spectacular in one album. They made perhaps the greatest song of the hair metal era, and they made the worst of the hair metal era. I think Uncle Tom's Cabin is hands down the best hair metal song of the 80s. Cherry Pie is hands down the worst song. Personal opinion, I just do not care for that song. Anyway, so that left me, what am I going to go with? And I said, you know what? Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood. That's a solid record. This is probably, and I know there's a lot of Crue fans out there. I'm going to say something they may not agree. I think this is when they finally got the sound right. The mix is right. The vocals is right. This is their strongest writing is on this record right here. It was their commercially most popular, which was they were kind of on an arc of getting bigger and bigger with every release, and they kind of peaked here. So we had 6 million sold in the U.S., 9 million worldwide, number one on the Billboard top 200 albums. But I think and I struggle a lot with some of these hair metal albums because a lot of times they don't they don't tend to be great records in my opinion. There's some songs and I bought them all. You know, matter of fact, the reason I have the CD is I had the LP and it just wasn't a very good press. And you know, I sell records, so I just sold it because I'm not going to listen to it. This sounds better than that. But this overall is a good sounding record, well produced, strong musicianship. I mean, the bass on this record just makes your chest thump. Between Tommy Lee and who's the bass player, Nikki Sixx, sounded good and really good songs like "Don't Go Away," "Mad," "Just Go Away." That was not actually a single on this, and they kind of buried it track number 10 because it was probably a little more pop rockish than they wanted to be, but it's my favorite song on the record. But singles were Dr. Feelgood, talking about great bass. That song has some great bass in it. Kickstart My Heart, Without You, and Same Old Situation. But overall, I listened to it again today. It's a solid record. I think it might be the most solid hair metal record. And I could do a college dissertation on what's hair metal, what's not hair metal, and how we got to hair metal. I have a more narrow definition of hair metal where I do not put Bon Jovi in there and I do not put Guns N' Roses in there.
Both of them are hair.
No,
There.
it's Rat, it's Poison, it's Warrant.
Go and look at the early photos of Guns N' Roses. Just look at the hair.
Yeah, but it's the sound. Though.
It's the sound.
Sounds different.
Still there.
But I also can understand why he has difficulty with hair.
I was gonna make that same joke. I was gonna say the hairless guys are talking about hair metal.
Jealousy factor going
Guys,
on.
I spend a lot of hours listening to hair metal. It's not like I didn't like it, but it is a grind, right? Like when you listen to this stuff, okay, they have two different types of songs. One is the women are sexual entities songs, and then the other ones are every rose has its thorn. I was like, these guys can't make up their mind, you know.
right.
They're clear
They
off.
want romance and they want the groupies.
Yeah, they're clear off on both ends of the spectrum. And let's
Right.
face it, they had those two songs, and they had songs about being on the road. And sometimes those songs about being on the road had love or they had sex in them. That's all. You know, so if you were a hair band, that's the only three kind of songs you could write.
Okay, so do you consider Twisted Sister hair band?
I put them more in the category of like Spinal Tap or something
Yeah,
like that. They're kind of like a character band.
They're a caricature of
So you
themselves.
basically put
Like,
them
they know that
where-
they're being goofy, and
Yeah, I don't think they even took themselves that seriously.
yeah,
They were a hard-working band. I keep anytime I talk about Twisted Sister or Dee Snider, I have so much respect for that guy. You got to watch it. You got to watch the documentary.
It's
on that.
almost like they put extra makeup on, kind of mocking hair bands.
Yeah.
Kind of. Do they go such to the extreme? You know?
And I don't mean, you know, there was
I think Guns N' Roses is hair band, but I think Guns N' Roses they broke the trend. Like they broke out of that. I do think that they are considered hair. They're on the tail end, but they broke that mold because
November
were a
Rain
great
though
band.
isn't very hair metally.
they were a great band.
November
Better
Rain
than a
is
lot of
like
the hair.
They're
Like
okay.
the
They're hair
overture.
band adjacent.
Yeah,
well, and a lot of bands are hair. That's why I said
you
it,
can
it
say
could be a
that,
yeah.
dissertation
yeah,
because
yeah.
I would say absolutely Van Halen is not a hair band, but you can't tell me that David Lee Roth did not greatly influence and Eddie Van Halen greatly influence what was coming later that was firmly hair metal. You know, I think they took a little bit of that. You know, same thing with you know, whenever it becomes popular, like Bon Jovi. I will make this case. John Bon Jovi, at the heart of it, he's a Heartland rocker. That he likes to tell story songs. He's not hair metal, but did they do some hair metal type songs? Sure, they did. I don't think that's their best songs. Their best songs are kind of Heartland rock songs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I would agree with you.
All right, Jake, you are up next.
I'm keeping this kind of with, you know, the 80s theme. Because one thing I hear people talk about all the time is they go, man, I love music of the 60s. I love music of the 70s. 80s, I took a nap. 90s, got back into it. But I want people to realize that in the 1980s, there was some amazing stuff. And that's really when I started getting into music. Now, I was born in 77. So, you know, the first record I bought, I was, you know, 9 years old. So that was 86, I think. So a great age to kind of get into music. And those albums, when I came across them, were unbelievable. This next album is unlike anything I've ever heard. And to this day, I am still blown away by it. I still think that it holds water today. I still think that it is 10 years ahead of its time because there was nothing that came out that sounded anything like this album that I'm going to bring up in a second, which was a band that was formed in 1985 by Eric Avey and Perry Farrell originally. And then they brought in Dave Navarro and company. They had to bring in a guitarist and a drummer. And the band in mention is Jane's Addiction. And the album in mention is their first album, not self-titled, which was live, but this was their first studio album, is Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking. Came out August 21st, 1988. And I think in the US, you know, it sold, it was a gold record. It sold probably about 500,000 copies originally. And I think they estimated well over 1 million. But the following that this, from this album, and then of course Ritual de lo Habitual, what they did just from those two records alone, I can't think of a band that came in as quickly as they did, put out the music that they did, gained the following as quickly as they did, like Jane's Addiction. I can't compare them to any other band but themselves. I mean, think about just some of the songs. Jane Says, Mountain Song, Steve's Song, Up the Beach, Ocean Sighs, and Summertime Rolls. The entire album has got nothing but hits. And Perry Farrell wrote all the songs. He did all the songs. I mean, he wrote a masterpiece. And it did. I'm trying to look at my notes because I know that Jane Says was number 6 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart. And I do believe that it was nominated. I think it was nominated for a Grammy, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I'll fact check it. But I remember the first time I heard this record. I walked into my brother's room after school. He borrowed this tape from a friend of his. And I walked in, and I remember him just sitting there, just staring blankly at his big, cassette stereo system with these big old long speakers. And he almost looked confused when I saw his face. And I asked him, I went up to him and I was like, Zach, what, I was like, what's wrong? And he just was like, I've never heard anything so great in my life. He was, I think 14. He was 14 years old. And I remember just looking at him and seeing how blown away he was by it. And I remember I sat there with him. I stood there with him and we listened to that whole record. And I still can't compare it to anything. So it still sticks with me today as a 48-year-old man, like it did the first time I heard it in 1988 when I was a 10-year-old kid. And it never gets old. It still sounds and punches and hits the same way it did when I was 10, 38 years later. It's an unbelievable record. And it's a record I think everybody should have. Ritual de lo Habitual will also make the list as well. Both records are unbelievable. They just had such a short fuse. But I think a lot of that was attributed to Perry Farrell's drug use. I mean, they were all just hitting drugs hard.
Well, don't you think, Jake, that Jane's Addiction's one of those, like, there's no middle ground. Like, I run into people that either like them or they can't.
Love them or hate them.
Yes.
You love them or hate them. There's no in between. I know that you have not been, I know you're not a huge fan. Mm-hmm. But it's just one of those bands that I can't explain it. Like, I don't know if it's an age thing, right? Like anybody from, 10 to 15 or 20 years old, like I can't describe it. I can't use words to describe how I felt or how it moved me when I first heard it. I remember looking at my brother and I could visibly see that, it definitely did something to him. But I mean, in that moment, we became lifelong Jane's Addiction fans. And it's really a shame, recently when they were out on tour watching Perry Farrell just get all ticked off at Dave Navarro and punched him, and just, it's a shame that they've gone to that, because they put out some amazing music and some great records.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt, like, when people talk about bands of that era and they list off 5 bands, usually Jane's Addiction is in there. I don't know why. I mean, they can name 5 of the bands, 4 of them I love the bands, and I just never that they never hit me the same way they did other people. But I recognize, like, there are people that love them.
There are people that love them, but it's like I challenge the chat. Like, can anybody in the chat tell me what other band sounds like Jane's Addiction? I don't think you can. That's, I think, what I love about them is the fact that they can't be duplicated. they are who they are. It's just it's the same thing with the Beatles, right? With the Beatles, you have 4 front men. 4 could have had their own band and had their own success, but the magic that those 4 guys created, it's just some of those bands have that. They've got that sauce, whatever you want to call it.
Scott, I'm with you. I'm not. I don't fully understand the whole Jane's Addiction thing. So in college, I had a buddy of mine across the hall from me that was all about him. So I mean, I've heard the entire discography multiple times over, and every time it's like, okay, the songs blend together in my mind, and I struggle. But I'm not saying that it shouldn't be in a collection. Personally, I'm with you, Scott. Like it doesn't click for me the same way.
Yeah, but I think that's part of what we're doing too. When you think about, Jake talked about the impact it had on him, and I've seen so many people have it. Like if you're putting together the 500, you certainly wouldn't leave them out because, I will say personally, I'm trying to make sure I have every single one of these records. Maybe not on vinyl, but on CD. I do not own Jane's Addiction, which is it's unusual for. I have like 6,000 CDs. It's unusual for me not to own a band, but I will. I'll go out and I'll find the Jane's Addiction and I'll give it another chance. But I think it absolutely belongs on the list just because I know there are people that really love them. So.
Yeah.
And also with this essential list, it's something that maybe, hey, give it a try. If it's not what you like, then it's not.
Yeah.
But it's something we think we like. That, hey, give it a listen. Maybe you'll like it as much as I do.
It might end up being somebody's favorite band.
Yeah,
give it a listen.
You didn't know.
Hold up, Floyd. It's like all 4 Beatles did have their own bands, and they
I was
were
going
all
to say it too, but
true, Floyd. But when you go back, like my mention on that was, when they originally got together, right in the very beginning, in the days when they were, playing in Hamburg, went to Liverpool, playing in the Cavern before they made it big, like. Who would have thought, right? The sound that they created, that all 4 of those guys, right, could have,
I'll give you
at
3
that time and not even known it.
I'll give you 3. I'll let you think about who the 4th one is.
On what?
I'll give you 3 of the 4. That 3 of them could, I think, had them at the beginning. I think 3 could have had it at the beginning. One of them would have been. I don't think he would have made it.
If you're factoring in Pete Best, no, I don't think Pete would have.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I think he's sliding Ringo maybe a little bit.
Ringo and no, I don't take that no more.
Hold up. He is a Hall of Fame recipient
now.
As a solo
I'm saying your criteria at the beginning. I don't know that Ringo could have made it.
I don't know if anybody would have thought they would at that time. I'm sure they probably would have thought that John and Paul would have, because at the time George Harrison wasn't writing songs. He was just a guitar player.
Yeah.
And he eventually evolved. So I can agree with you in that sense. Like at that time. But I mean, to Floyd's credit, correct. Look at what all 4 of them did after the fact, right?
Sure.
So it's like there just aren't many bands that you think about that. It's something to think about, right? How many bands?
We've slid away from topic a little bit.
Sorry,
well, we can have a great Beatles conversation at some point, but
it all came into the whole,
I get it.
So technically, it's not really off topic.
It's my turn.
Stop talking.
It's my turn. All right. So, this one I know I own it, but I couldn't find it. And so we always talk about accessible jazz. It's very big on me, accessible jazz to people. Because you start the wrong place and you need to turn off the jazz. My pick this week was A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. This came out in 1965. You really can't you can't really go at like, Grammy and all that stuff, because I don't know, it always seems like it's a little bit further off mainstream, but it sold about 500,000 copies. But since then, I mean, it's had to have sold millions and millions. But right now, 500,000 copies sold worldwide. It wasn't much different at that point. And you can't really single out tracks on most jazz albums. It's all one piece. It's all one you listen to the whole thing, you don't really pick a track. It did peak at number 23 on the Billboard 200. And it's about faith, gratitude, a blend of free jazz, gospel, and modal jazz, which I'm not really familiar with that term.
Modal.
And it's kind of one of the greatest jazz records of all time. I've listened to it this week over and over again at work, just trying to. Of looking at jazz to me as it's the score. It's not the soundtrack you like; it's the score of your life. So listen to the music. That's the soundtrack. This is the score. Find a nice jazz album, put it in, do some work around the house. I like to alphabetize my records to jazz. I don't know why, but it makes it easier for me. But this definitely solidified Coltrane's status in the jazz community, because usually, he was on other records and it's used Miles Davis, and then there's a whole bunch of people. John Coltrane would want to be one of them, and really set him as his own artist on his own for the most part. And I don't if you guys can speak up more about it, because I don't know a lot about jazz, but I just think this album is great, and I thought I wanted to talk about it. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, I definitely think it's accessible because, I've said on here before, I own about 80, maybe 90 jazz records. And I will say that this is one of my favorites. It's just brilliant, And when people were giving me recommendations, this is always in the top 10. Everybody always lists, oh, you got to get this. I like some Coltrane. And when Sean put it on the list, I was like, oh, Sean's going to put on the list the ones I know. That's all right. I got one coming. I'm gonna have to fire that bullet before anybody else grabs it. But yeah, it's a great pick, Sean. I think there's I know Tucker's a huge jazz fan, and he's just waiting for us to do more jazz. But I guess you could not like this album, but I was going to say I don't know who couldn't like this album. It's so good.
There's a couple haters in the chat though that don't like the jazz. So
yeah.
But yeah, modal is a lyrical scale type of a format of jazz. So their improvs and their solos are going to be more scale based, and you're going to get harmonies and lyrical type runs and things like that. So very opposite of like free jazz, which is all over the place and crazy. So Brubeck was a modal type of player, and so was good grief, the name just escaped me. Paul Desmond was also.
So when he does the Love Supreme, it's more like to be an instrumental kind of mixed in
scale based type improv.
Gotcha. So that was mine this week, and I really think you guys should give jazz a chance. I mean, just give it a chance. And the titles we kind of been brought to you are the easier ones to get into, and maybe we'll have something that's more. Maybe Bitches Brew will show up. I doubt it, but I doubt it.
I got a quick trivia question here for Scott. So I went just to check, just to make sure I was correct. Jane's Addiction's Nothing Shocking was nominated for a Grammy in 1989 for Best Hard Rock Metal Performance, Vocal or Instrumental. Do you know who they lost to?
What year was it?
89?
89.
Jethro Tull.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. That was the year with Jethro. People are like, "What?"
That is correct.
We were talking about that record not too long ago.
I've got it.
Yeah, I told you it was a good record. It is it is Crest
really
of Maeve, right? Crest of Maeve.
That's a good one.
That's what's great about it, Scott, is that here we are talking about Jane's Addiction and just the album. And it's like, look, it got nominated, and what did it lose to? It lost to Jethro Tull, and we were talking about that. So I just found that unique.
Yeah, everybody thinks Aqualung's the only Jethro Tull album you need, and there's actually a couple other good ones out there, folks.
There are. I agree. All right, am I up?
You were up.
All right.
You are up. You are up.
Give jazz a chance.
Oh, we are saying.
That's hilarious. All right. So next up for me, I'm kind of hitting a lot of different genres tonight. So this one came out in 1984. So it's keeping with the 80s for Jake.
There you go.
1984, 1 million copies were sold. So it hit gold. And worldwide, estimated about 2 million that have been sold. So that is none other than Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather. Phenomenal record. Brought blues. Like he already did it with Texas Flood and his other albums, but really he kind of single-handedly brought blues back to the forefront of popular music. So Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather, is a phenomenal record. Belongs, I think, in a collection. And so on here you have such bangers as Cold Shot. You've got Crossfire, Couldn't Stand the Weather, and Scuttlebutton. I added Scuttlebutton to the list because I think that is one of his, like, he just shows off his absolute prowess to playing the guitar on Scuttlebutton. The speed, it's amazing. And then obviously he has some phenomenal renditions of Voodoo Child. Obviously it's Jimi Hendrix, but man, you start talking about Voodoo Child, Stevie Ray Vaughan is in the conversation. As I mean, he is known for his rendition of that song, as well as where was my notes? Tin Pan Alley. If you guys don't know the song Tin Pan Alley, that's an original song done by Robert Geddes, and Stevie does a phenomenal version of that song as well. And on this album, they cut the song short. There's somewhere out there in chat. I'm open to hear. If you know where the full version of Stevie Ray Vaughan's song of Tin Pan Alley. There's one where they on the record they fade it out right as he starts to go into another solo rip, and it just kind of fades out. So
there's got to be a deluxe edition, expanded edition,
you'd think,
CD
right?
or something, out there.
But so this peaked at number 31 on the Billboard 200 in the charts, and Cold Shot was number 38 on the Hot 100. So this copy means something to me. I know you're like, oh man, look at that. It's got ring wear and it's all beat up. But this is a very instrumental record to me, as a friend of mine essentially gave me my start in selling records. He had a collection of records that he wasn't doing anything with. And he said, take them, sell them, give me a cut, and it'll get you going. So he was kind of like my first entry to Whatnot, and able to sell some records came from the guy who gave me this record. So this means a lot to me because of the belief he had in me, but also I just love the album. And it's a fantastic all-around blues rock album, and you can't not like it. I'm sorry. I will deny you saying that you don't like it.
Yeah, when you sit your picks in, I was like, good job, Chris. That's my favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan record, and Crossfire is my favorite Stevie Ray song.
Yeah.
That's a good one. If you don't have any Stevie Ray or you're looking to get into him, that's a great record to start with.
Yep, I agree.
Awesome. So, Scott, you're next.
Okay, well, this is another one. I do not have the vinyl because Sony Universal has not released this on vinyl yet for some known reason. There is a rumor that the Sheryl Crow tapes were in the Hollywood fire. But there should be safety backups out there. They could do something with those. But there's 3 Sheryl Crow records. So, she came on the scene with Tuesday Night Music Club. Not my favorite record. It's a little too poppy for me, but I thought she did a good job on that. But with this record, self-titled, Globe Sessions, and Come On, Come On, in my mind, during that stretch, I was like, she is the female Tom Petty. Her songs are just interesting. At the core of them, they're just roots rock that they put a lot around. So when I thought, well, Sheryl Crow needs to be on this list, which record? And I really thought, it's going to be close between Globe Sessions and Self-Titled. But once I started listening to them, I was like, actually, Self-Titled is a good bit better. It has the singles, A Change Could Do You Good, If It Makes You Happy, Hard to Make a Stand, and Every Day is a Winding Road. So there was a lot of radio play of this record. It did sell, let me see here, 5 million worldwide, two times platinum in the US. The top charting song was A Change Would Do You Good. It was number 10 on the Hot 100. If It Makes You Happy was number 1 on the adult top 40. But why I picked it is I just think she's a much more substantial artist than people give her credit for. Her songwriting solid. I think when she went in to make this record, she brought in. I don't know if anybody's going to get this reference, but one of the co-producers of it was David Bearwold. And if you guys remember a group called David and David, they had a song called Boomtown that was I think it was a top 20 song.
Yeah.
But she met them. She met the Davids, and she was backup singing, and they got to know her real well. And they said, "Hey, you got a lot of good songs." So they started working to promote her as an artist. And he continued to produce several of her records. But they brought in Mitchell Fromm. So Mitchell Fromm is he's a keyboardist, probably most famous now as both a producer himself, and he produced all the Crowded House records, and he is actually a member of Crowded House now on keyboards. But if you I've come to the conclusion, if you didn't want your 80s and 90s music to sound dated, use like a Hammond organ or a Moog, because those have a way of not I don't know what kind of keyboards Loverboy used, but those were not the kind you want to use. I like Loverboy, but when you hear dated keyboards, I always think of them. But there's so many ambient sounds in this music, and I love it when somebody takes the time to really craft a record, like put this little thing in there, do this, and that's what Cheryl did with this record. And not only does it have classic songs on it, it just sounds spectacular. There's a roots rock, a Mississippi Delta sounding song, like I think early Stones, Sweet Rosalind on here. I don't know if anybody's out there hasn't given Sheryl Crow a chance, but either stream this record. This is Sheryl Crow, self-titled, or pick it up on CD. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a record store day, or maybe with Sony Universal's new vinyl file series, that we're going to get these Sheryl Crow records. And this is one of the best sounding records you'll ever listen to. Sheryl Crow, self-titled.
And she also was on Jimmy Buffett's record, Off to See the Lizard. So she
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Buffett.
Oh.
So she's from the St. Louis area, and one of the members of the Coral Reefer band, Peter Mayer, was from that area, and she was on his record. And I guess that somehow she got introduced to Jimmy Buffett, and she even mentioned him in her Hall of Fame induction speech. So
that's right, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, she's a Hall of Famer,
yeah.
And she mentioned Jimmy, and she taught him a lot. He taught her a lot about music business. Like, and I think the quote was something or along the lines, "Why rent the bus when you could buy it and then rent it to others?" And use like Jimmy's business philosophy. And that's kind of where he went with that.
She also was did some touring with Michael Jackson as a backup singer too.
There you go. So Jake, you're up next, right?
I am going to keep this still in the 80s. And
in the 80s.
First time I bought this, I bought this on cassette. And I played it so much that I ruined the tape within about a month of having it because I played it so much. And it has grown over time to actually be one of my favorite albums from my favorite band, one of my favorite bands of all time. And here's a fact which people probably don't realize, or you don't think about it. This album is not a concept album like so many of the albums prior to. And that album is Pink Floyd's 1987 Momentary Lapse of Reason. The first album without Roger Waters, which he had left the band in 1985. And he pretty much felt that Pink Floyd was like spent. They were done and over, and he felt the need not to continue on. And it's interesting if you really kind of dig into Pink Floyd's history and read a lot of any of the articles, with David Gilmour or Roger Waters. A lot of feuding went on during this time in the 80s, and there was a lot of legal battles going on during the production of Momentary Lapse of Reason, because Roger Waters felt, and I'm sure a lot of you know, Roger Waters felt that when he left Pink Floyd that they were done, and that the Pink Floyd name could no longer carry on and go forth after he left. And then David Gilmour pretty much felt, no, like, if you leave, we're moving forward. And Roger Waters pretty much told him, you'll never do it. And David Gilmour was like, yeah,
Hold my beer.
pretty much, right? So those who don't know are familiar. When The Wall came out, eventually Roger Waters kicked Richard Wright out of the band, and they hired him as a musician to play during the live shows. So he was not on the final cut at all whatsoever. If you look at the final cut credits, it's just Roger Waters, David Gilmour, and Nick Mason on the album. Richard Wright was gone. And when this album was made, if I were to take this out and open up the gatefold, you'll just see a picture of Nick Mason and David Gilmour kind of back to back. Richard Wright's not on here, but Richard Wright was on the album as a session player. He did not, quote unquote, return as a full member until the Division Bell in 1994. But this was, a return to the Floyd name, because in 1985, Roger Waters had The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. And I think at that time, David Gilmour was touring About Face. And the tour did not do great. It actually was pretty abysmal, to where David Gilmour canceled several shows. And a lot of people felt when they went to see Roger Waters that it was just kind of like an attempt to be a Pink Floyd album. And the, label was really urging Roger Waters to essentially come back to make a record. And Nick Mason even went on, I think, stating that he missed playing under the Floyd name. So in comes Momentary Lapse of Reason, without Roger Waters, not a concept album. It sold 7 million worldwide copies, 4 million in the US. It came out September 7th, 1987. This was recorded in multiple studios, but a lot of it was recorded on David Gilmour's boat, the Astoria, which he had refurbished and kind of made into a studio. He still uses it today to go in and record and do a bunch of stuff. It's a gorgeous boat. It was built at the turn of the century. Like, if you haven't seen any of the footage, just YouTube David Gilmour's boat, Astoria. It's gorgeous. But, you think of the songs. You've got Learning to Fly, On the Turning Away, Dogs of War, Signs of Life, One Slip, A New Machine, Part 1 and 2. And my favorite song, which Chris knows, which in my opinion was the best song of the night when we saw David Gilmour Halloween of 2024. And that was Sorrow. Probably my favorite song.
Phenomenal.
Off this record. And it took a while for me to come back around to A Momentary Lapse of Reason, because in my teenage years, I was all about Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, Animals, and The Wall. I couldn't get enough of those records. And for a long time, Momentary Lapse of Reason for me kind of just, stayed on the shelf. I first heard the record when I was 10 years old, and I loved it. And then for some reason, I just kind of went away from it. And I would say over the last 10 years, I've come back to it. And it's an unbelievable record. And I like the fact that it is completely different from all of the concept, because obviously all the conceptual stuff, right? That was all Roger Waters. I mean, he was pretty much the main writer and ingenious, as he goes by. David Gilmour is the sound of Pink Floyd, as he goes by. Roger Waters is the genius of Pink Floyd. And I loved a lot of Roger's writing, and I liked the conceptual ideas of it. I think it's great. But I think Roger, once he got to that and peaked, it's like he never went beyond that. So I give David Gilmour kudos for actually kind of doing something completely different, doing something that wasn't a concept. And in a sense, what he did, he and Nick Mason and Richard Wright, coming in as a session player, they basically proved to the masses that, hey, we don't need one guy. One guy is not the band. We can come in here and we can do this. And they sell damn near 10 million records. And it's, to this day, still one of my favorite Floyd records of all time. And I got I think the 18 remaster, and I think they did like a redo. And I like the redo. Chris, I don't know if it was you that told me about it. Somebody had told me, and I went and listened to that. And what was good is they kind of took some of the 80s kind of elements out and cleaned it up. And it sounds even better. So that's my third record for the night.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, at the time, I think everybody had a little bit of sense that, like, oh, is this imitation Pink Floyd or what? And
Roger
I think a lot
Waters stated it as, I think, a great plagiarism. I think was kind of something not spot on, but he called it
Well, you can't listen to, like, when I've never seen Pink Floyd live, but I've watched they make a lot of concerts available on their website and stuff. You can watch a lot of footage. When there's 3 songs live that just always kill me. Of Comfortably Numb, of course, that guitar solo is just unbelievable. Wish You Were Here, and On the Turning Away from that record. Like, when they do that live,
listen to Sorrow again.
Sorrow.
Amazing.
Find a copy from the latest tour and listen to Sorrow.
And look, I've got it, Chris. Like they have the box set that came out, his live stuff, and Chris and I have got it. And all I can tell y'all is you had to be there to witness the light show that came on. And like Chris and I couldn't even really get the full effect because we were actually kind of off to the side. And the best place to have been is where Chris always wants to be, which is if we were kind of right there by the soundboard, we'd have had the full view of it. But it was unbelievable.
Awesome. Now, I think I'm the last one. This is the last record we're going to go over tonight. And this one, I'm not going to use the word banger, but it's one of those bargain bin, easy to find records that I think everybody should have in the collection. This is one that I know I always pick up. I know they always pick them up. This came out in 1976, and that is Boz Scaggs, Silk Degrees.
It's essential, man.
It is definitely an essential. It sold 2 million copies in the U.S., and I swear there's a lot more than that because they're so readily available.
Everywhere.
There's 2 million on Whatnot. I mean, come on.
Copies worldwide. It has Lowdown, Lido Shuffle, What Can I Say? And I also love Harbor Lights on here. I love that song on here. And it's like a 6-minute song. It peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200. Lowdown was 3 in the Hot 100. Lido was 11 on the Hot 100. But it's jazz, it's rock, it's blues, R&B. It kind of goes everywhere. And the previous records before this were more bluesy. And his history was he was born in Canton, Ohio. He moved to Oklahoma, and then he went to Texas, and he moved to Dallas, and he was in St. Mary's Prep School, and he ran into this other musician guy that really was into music, and his name happened to be Steve Miller. So Boz Scaggs started off as the Steve Miller Band. Yes.
Isn't that nuts?
From Detroit.
Yeah. And they kind of had and both of them could probably have been off on their own, but they kind of started together. But eventually, Oh, we lost Jake. Well, he'll be back. We'll let him in. So they met at this prep school, and they started hanging out. And he also tells a story that he was very active at a very young age, going to see live acts. And he was talking about was it Ray Charles? It might have been Ray Charles, but there's a lot of influences that he saw so many live bands that he got all these influences from everywhere, and he really incorporated into his music. So at some point, Steve Miller kind of had a little bit of a falling out, like every band does, and he branched out on his own, and started off very bluesy, then this R&B, and then his band, the band that accompanied him, and from like in this era on, was basically Toto.
What year was that, Sean? When he met up with Miller?
I wasn't there, but it was way earlier than 76.
So
early? Like this early?
Probably
not psychedelic, Steve.
This is 1968.
Yeah, I don't know whether it must have been about the same time, because it probably is right around there.
Psychedelic, Steve.
Yeah. So there's a handbill. But then also his band, and this is Toto. Toto, who has been in every yacht rock band song ever.
You hear that, Scott?
No, did he say something?
Doesn't mean no.
He did.
As session musicians, we're in every yacht rock album out there. This is no exception. And this was my selection. And definitely give it a listen. You can pick it up at any local record store, probably, I don't know, $5.
I get you EX copy, $5.
That Japanese press right there sounds unbelievable. So if anybody in here doesn't have a Japanese press of that record, I'm telling you, you need to have it. It sounds
give it a listen,
so
guys.
good.
I'd read the tracks, but it's in Japanese. But definitely give this one a listen to, and get it in your collection. And you can get it for like $5.
It's a banger,
and it really is.
It's a
bargain. It's a bargain basement banger.
Yeah.
That's
Floyd's just Billy Joel.
So I always like to bring up something that's very, very, very accessible to everybody. And this is my pick this week.
I think that's a great pick, Sean,
Great
because
pick.
I do think that some of these essential albums, I do think that there are a lot out there that are accessible. And I think that's important, because not all of these records, right? Not all of them are, grails, right? There are those that you can go and grab that are, $10 and under.
What's an enjoyable? You put it on and you're surprised how good it is.
You are.
It's really good.
So Floyd, I wanted to answer your question. You are correct. Because the Wall, when they toured the Wall, it lost so much money that Richard Wright was really the only guy that made money on it, because he was hired as a session player during the tour. He was the only one that came out of it and made money. Got kicked out of the band, had him tour. Everybody else lost.
That's awesome.
Joke's on you.
All right. So next up, I had the task of making a list of the top 5 Billy Joel songs. And that was not easy at all. Oh my goodness.
I'm super excited, Sean.
I was too, and then I was doing it, and I'm like, because I kind of went into it first going, The Stranger. I don't want The Stranger to be number 1, and I'm trying to find every reason to not put it as number 1, and we'll see if I ended up with that. And I'm also thinking about how, greatest hit albums are great for artists that, you have 1 or 2 songs on an album and you get the greatest hits. I think Billy Joel's greatest hits is great, but it's a disservice to Billy Joel. Because almost every single album has 5-7 songs that you love. I remember one time someone asked me, "What's your favorite Billy Joel song?" And I went, "Miami 2017." And they were, "Huh? What's that?" Probably because they listened to the Greatest Hits album and not really dive into each individual album. Because we started with Cold Spring Harbor was his first album, Piano Man, Street Life Serenade, Turnstiles, The Stranger, which was his huge commercial success, 52nd Street, Glass Houses, Nylon Curtain, Innocent Man, The Bridge, Stormfront, River of Dreams, and then there was his classical one he wrote. And if you look at all of like this was written out by my wife. She wrote down every song to every album, right? And checked every song she liked on each album. And I mean, every one of them has 5, 6, 8 checked off. So they're all, I'm not going to use the word, they're all great. So how do you choose a greatest hits album and leave off stuff, considering that The Stranger probably has most of the songs on the greatest hits album? So I really started going through them and looking at them, and I listened to them all. And again, I was in the mindset, no Strange is not going to be number one. And again, maybe I still did that. And then watching the documentary, and then listening to the records again, and then trying to put, not only was it how to do number 1 and 2, but 3, 4, and 5. You're like, what do you do that? Do I put Glasses House? How do you not put Piano Man? How do you do it? It was not easy. Especially when you start going through it. I'm like, well, how about the song with the most hits? And then some of them didn't have to be hits, but like Street Life Serenade, Los Angelinos is awesome. Weekend Song, Souvenir. I mean, there's so many songs that you guys might not even know because you listen to the Greatest Hits album.
The Greatest Hits, I will say, helped Billy Joel because that thing sold probably
right. But Divorces, he needed that money.
11.5 million copies.
Yeah.
6th most certified album of all time in the
Like,
U.S.
All You Want to Do Is Dance is a great song. I love that song. And every album had something like that. The Stranger, I mean, every song on The Stranger basically is awesome. So let's see what I did for number 5, guys. Number 5. How do we go? I have control over this. All right, we go in order. Number 5, Billy Joel's Innocent Man. Starts off with Easy Money, which was which was the song from Easy Money, obviously. The Longest Time. This is the one that it was the 80s. It was doo-woppy. I mean, he found Christy Brinkley, and he all of a sudden went to the 50s and was doing doo-wop songs with Tell Her About It, The Longest Time, Uptown Girl, Keeping the Faith. That one's an amazing song. So that's why I chose that one as number 5. And then his manager, Robin Blind.
Yeah, man, he had to bust ass to make it back, but credit to him.
He did it. Number 3 was Glass Houses.
Favorite.
Scott's favorite.
This is way too low. Way too low.
This has You May Be Right. Sometimes I can't read.
So far, I'm spot on. So far, I'm spot on.
I Don't Want to Be Alone. Then there's that French one at the end. Was that You Were the One? Sleeping with the Television On. I kind of liked it, but I could see why people wouldn't like that one. But
Scott is disgusted.
It's a heater. Sean, did you actually listen to that record?
Yes, I did. It's just that every record is great.
Get him, Sean.
If you like Billy Joel, to pick a 5, it's you just want to lump them all in together and pull a Chris and put all 5 records together and call it.
I want the audience and the 200 people who watch it after the episode, just remember, Glass Houses was number 4 by Sean. Just remember.
And I wanted the whole time. I wanted Turnstiles to be number 1. I wanted it to be number 1.
I would have had that, but I sold it my last show, so I would be holding it up right now.
So, and also, if you look behind Billy Joel, that's his adopted son, Sean, his stepson, and his mother-in-law. And in the back, and each group of people in here represented a name, represented one of the songs. Like Richard Belzer in the back was Goodbye to Hollywood, but they all represented one of the songs in the album.
That's cool.
So that's number 3. Number 2.
Wow! Look at
Stormfront.
Dude, come on!
Stormfront.
That is a
Let's
phenomenal.
go, dude.
Stormfront.
I agree with you on
a
this.
great.
Let's go.
That's not our
I
style.
agree.
We didn't start the fire is great, but it's probably not the best song on that album.
No.
Scott is fuming.
Down Easter Alexa. I love that song.
My favorite. Yeah.
I Go to Extremes, Stormfront,
Yes.
Leningrad,
Yes.
When in Rome, and So It Goes is so
Dude,
good.
awesome number 2 pick.
Sean, you are nailing this.
The Down Easter Alexis, kind of talks about the plight of the fishermen. This is the one I wanted to be number 1. I wanted this album to be number 1. And
so underrated.
I had it at number 1 right till like maybe an hour before I sent the information over to Scott. I had this as number one, and I'm like, I can't make a list and just because I didn't want Strangers to be number one. I wasn't gonna just do it just to be, I don't know, spiteful or whatever. All right, so let's see what the number one. What is the number one? Did he go really crazy?
The number two.
You know, is it River of Dreams?
I was gonna say River of Dreams. Watch.
No,
River of Dreams.
no, you hated it. You said you only.
Yeah,
liked
I
two
didn't.
songs on
I
it.
wasn't a huge fan of River of Dreams. There's a
I'm
couple
kidding.
songs I love on there,
Yeah.
but as a whole album, I didn't love that album. All right, so number one is.
I'm saying Piano Man. That's my guess.
Why ain't working here? What?
Yes.
No way.
Yes!
How did Jake get in on Jake? How'd you do that?
Be sure you read the caption, Jake.
Impressing no one
Return of
since
the-
1995.
See, no one's.
All right, so that is not the number one Billy Joel album. All right, so let's see what the number one Billy Joel album is.
Piano Man.
The Stranger. I could not ignore The Stranger. I mean, that is just, it's his biggest album, but every song on there is amazing.
Yeah,
And I went in this saying I don't want to do The Stranger because I looked at lists online and every one of them had Stranger number one, and I saw one list that had River of Dreams, and I'm like, no. And I didn't have this as number one for a while. So there's my list, and I'm going to do the honorable mention.
So, where are these
They're
at?
great. They're all right there. I mean, 3, 4, and 5 could have all been those. I mean, really could have been.
Yeah.
If I could have
Chris,
put them together.
I talked with him about it. I told him my top five. And on the record here, my top five completely different than Sean's top five. But I think the mention of Stormfront top two, like that was solid.
Yeah,
that was strong as hell.
And maybe
like,
not everyone agrees, but I also think not everyone's really listened to that album.
I do agree with you. I love Stormfront.
I do too. That's one of the first Billy Joel records I listened to.
Yeah.
So
the honorable mentions.
Yeah, let's see the honorable mentions.
Well, we're gonna see if the wives approve, because again, my wife was doing her own list. Scott's wife was doing her own list, so I'm like,
he's got overseers.
I got all this pressure on me. And the honorable mentions. I wish. Here's the honorable mentions. Cold Spring Harbor.
Yep.
I wish.
Yes.
If that got Taylor's version, like he did a new version of it on his own, I think this album would be a contender.
So I think the Japanese press, if we still have, if somebody's got it, I had one, but I think the Japanese press is probably the one to listen to because obviously the original was so sped up.
Yeah, but it just never remastered to sound that good. And of course, the Piano Man and Billy Joel, 52nd Street, they both could have been 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 easy. It's just there's so many great songs on every one of his albums that it's not fair to put all songs in a top 5.
All 3 of those records were in my top 5.
I seen if Cold Spring Harbor was produced and redone, that probably would have been up there.
Yeah,
but it's just so poorly made.
I don't see anything wrong with your list and your honorable mentions. I own every single one of them, and I love every single one of them. So your top 5 order, in my opinion, you could have flipped those in any order, and you would have been happy.
I would have taken
very happy with number 2 being Storm.
Same here. I think number 2, I think is the.
Well, what do you guys in the audience? What do you guys listening think? Like, you guys think that's
so? Innocent Man for me. Innocent Man would have been honorable mention. I would have probably taken any of these 3 over Innocent Man, but I understand why it's there because there are some good songs on it.
And remember, I was in the MTV generation, and we remember the videos and him at the gas station, and
absolutely.
And it's got that old vibe to it. But again, any of them could have been 4.1, 4.2, or 2.1 point. It's just they're all so close.
All right, Chris Patterson, we're not playing that crap.
But seriously, that's I mean, I had to choose, and I did choose, but they're all that good that all 8 of those should be in the top 5. Which I can't do.
It's hard to argue. It gets anybody. I mean, all these records are so good. You know, what shocked me is when you send it over. I got to share this. I don't usually share. chats we have back and forth. So Sean sent it over, and then he followed up with a text about 20 minutes later. He goes, "I could not justify Strangers not being number one, no matter how hard I tried."
And I tried.
And my response was, "Dude, it is number one."
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that is my list. What do you guys
Serenade
think?
didn't even
Think I
make
did
the
okay?
list.
Yeah.
And that was definitely hard. I mean,
So-
I think with Dylan, it's probably hard to get to the 5, but you could dismiss 10 or 15 right away.
You know
Billy
what else I
Joel,
love?
You can't dismiss maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You could probably dismiss from the top 5, and that's it.
You know what else I love? I love the fact that you didn't even mention Songs in the Attic at all because Scott loves that record. And
It's a live record.
It didn't even
live
make
record,
the
by the way.
list.
It's
Yes,
Billy Joel's
but-
best record, period.
So Scott, where do you disagree with
Oh,
Sean's
you know, with
list?
Terry,
Oh,
the age,
because Glass Houses is his number one.
I mean, a lot of it is semantics. So, the fact that River of Dreams gets no love, doesn't even get an honorable mention. That's something that's kind of stood out to me. I mean, I could see not having it in the top 5. It's in my top 5. I think it is number 5. But not a fan of Innocent Man. If I was doing the list, it would have been lucky to get honorable mention. I just do not like the sound.
the doo-woppy.
No, I did. Yeah, it just did not interest me at all.
I mean, how many artists go back to their roots, right? I mean,
And I think
Billy
that was
Joel's
more
done
of the age and when it came out. It was MTV, and I remember that well.
Rod Stewart's done it.
Stormfront is
all
not
the
really
time.
about it being during my listening prime. It's just something I knew it and didn't really give it a huge listen until recently. So
Billy
it's
Joel
not a
on top of his
nostalgia
game.
thing.
Man,
I mean, the
Stormfront,
bridge didn't even make it, which I understand. Like, I would have put the bridge
I
over.
love Baby Grand on the bridge, but
Yeah,
there
I might have put
there
the
was like
bridge
4
over
songs I
it.
didn't really love on bridge.
Yeah, I didn't.
Stormfront. I listened to that thing daily when I was in high school. Like it was daily.
That's one of your favorite
listening to
records, man.
Stormfront. Yeah, it is.
I think the Nylon Curtain and the Bridge are. They've
Nylon
got
Curtain didn't
great
even-
songs, but
Got
they're not,
Allentown to open it.
they're not great records. I mean, they're not as strong as some of his other stuff. And even giving Innocent Man a pass. So, those 3 for me wouldn't have made it either. But I think it was interesting because you can't play at home, play along at home, and that's exactly what we did. We had to drive up to New York for Thanksgiving, so in the car, we were listening to Billy Joel, and it's funny when I always say, "Well, go back and put the music on because it will change your mind." I think one thing that stood out to me is my wife. She was lukewarm on 52nd Street, and after we started looking at the songs and playing some of them, she's like, "Oh, actually, that's a really good album."
But
So-
I'll ask you guys, everyone who's listening, put the greatest hits aside for a little while. Go back into his albums and listen, and you
Yeah.
try
Oh,
to
I
make
agree.
the top 5.
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree with
Yeah,
that,
it's
Sean.
Not
So
easy.
Scott, what do you think of Stormfront? We clearly, all 3 of us love it. You were
I
kinda
think
looking-
I think I had it at number 3 on
Okay.
my list. Yeah, I like it. I think it's really strong.
So Stormfront was my Stormfront. I think was like my number 3 as well. I had Stormfront at 3. I'm a sucker for a lot of the early stuff. I love Piano Man, and I remember when I first heard the album. I was 13 years old, and I love Captain Jack. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
and
songs
So I'm
of his.
assuming that's my wife. He writes what he
Love it.
feels.
Scott just cannot stand it.
That song.
So apparently, if you're married or marrying a supermodel, you really go into the you go into the.
That's my point. It made him soft.
Yeah, well, dude,
He
man,
lost his
Made
edge.
him turn into doo-wop.
he lost his muse, man. I mean, he divorced, his wife left him. And I mean, a lot of those songs,
again,
all
guys,
the early
watch the
songs from
documentary.
Cold Spring Harbor onward, like were about her.
Yeah.
He lost that. And then, Christy Brinkley comes into the picture. Like,
And he starts doing doo-wop. Yeah.
A happy-
Only thing I
Yeah.
have to say, at least he moved off of it pretty quickly. He didn't stick around in it.
And River of Dreams,
just
I
wonder-
may grow into it now that I own the record. I'll give it some more listen, but as of right now, it's not in my top.
Yeah, River of Dreams is.
There's some
really
songs
good
I
rock
really, really love on it. Really, really love.
Mine's out in the living room.
Mhm.
All right, guys, have any in the audience have any? This is the time for you guys. This is the Q&A session of our show.
I just
Um,
love how uncomfortable Scott is right now. Just look at him. Just look at him, just fuming.
Hey, he's got Storm
show's
Frontage
gonna
3,
end.
so
Throw the
yeah,
headphones.
he's like
on.
2 out of
This is
5 ain't bad, right? I guess for him, 2 out of 5 wasn't that bad.
Well, you know, I was just really, I didn't have to do it. So I knew that nobody would have the same Billy Joel list, right? No, nobody
would
has
be good.
exactly the same tune.
You know what we should do? We should, I mean, because I think this might have been one of the best top fives.
Mhm.
Like I love the number 2 pick. I was with Scott. I had it at number 3, but it's like, I don't think you're wrong. Like, I think you're
Stacey.
100% right. I really do.
Well,
I think
I
we
am-
should do something like this. We find an artist, and somehow we all do a top 5, and let's see
Where
see
you
who
guys
does what.
overlap. Yeah, where you overlap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
my
think that-
question.
Go ahead, Chris.
You go ahead. Sorry, you were going to make a point about that.
Well, I was just saying we could probably even do something with a poll on the YouTube page of like who got it most right, you know.
Yeah.
So the three of us and the guests will all rank, and then
And my wife says Piano Man would have been in the top 5.
So Piano Man was in my top 5.
Yeah.
So
And-
I'm interested to hear Scott's take. So River of Dreams has what in the middle of the
I
night,
love
right?
that song.
Where it's a great song, but that's kind of doo-woppy. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it
to
kinda
well,
doo-wop.
I want to say this: if it was on Innocent Man, it'd be the best song on there. It is a,
Yeah,
It's a
all
good
about
thing to
soul
do.
on River, and River Dream has all about soul. Lullaby, Good
But I
Night, My
mean,
Angel.
I'm just
and
trying to
River of
like,
Dreams.
how does
A good
that coincide? You're like, no, forget the doo-wop. But I love River of
I
Dreams.
consider it like it's an album cut on there, and I do like it. But All About Soul and Famous Last Words, Great Wall of China, I really like those songs. Like Famous
Yeah.
Last Words is probably my favorite song on the record.
And it's the last song on the album.
Yeah, it's was intended to be his last song he ever did.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the first. I didn't love the first 5 songs. So it's like, if you put an album on and you don't like the first song, and then
Yeah,
you're like,
Jared-
the second one, it like, how do you put that in your top 5? You know?
Yeah.
I know, Sean, we
Jared-
talked about this, but I really would. I mean, I know he did. He recorded, one new song and put it up, but damn it. Yeah, and that wasn't a bad song. It was actually a good song. I would love Billy Joel to do one more record. Just put in the time, get in the studio and do it. I know it like takes a lot out of him, but I still think he's got some sauce.
Yeah, he's
Left.
weird with the writing. The way he writes so much with his soul and heart that it wears on him so much. It's crazy. And then if we interview him and you ask him the meaning of a song, he's like,
He doesn't
"I'm not
go
gonna
into
talk
it,
about
right?
I'm not gonna get into it. I'll tell you how I made it, but I'm not gonna talk about what it means." He's very close to the vest with that kind of stuff.
How many how many records does he have? 10, 12?
12? Was it 12? I think it's 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good career. 12 records.
Yeah, and again, there's so many songs on each album. It's not like Kiss. There's one song each album you might like.
Always Kiss.
That's why I think the greatest hits is almost a disservice to Billy Joel.
Well, look, hey,
And the greatest hits for Kiss makes them better.
It did a service to his bank account. I think that's really all the greatest hits do. They do a service to the bank account.
Yeah, and there's one new song on his bank account, on the live album. There's those greatest hits. There's that one song.
What, Turn the Lights Back On, the newest one he did a few years
No, and
ago?
on the greatest hits album, and it was he dresses up like he's got this moniker, and he's on the bridge, and this guy's about to jump, and it's kind of like a Scrooge backflash. My wife's in here, and she'll say the name of the song, but it's on the. I'm pretty sure it's on the greatest hits album. There's one song that wasn't on other albums, so he had one song, on there. So that would be his last song, wouldn't it? Until Leave the Lights On or whatever it was. So any questions, guys? This is your time now. This is where you can say
Second Wind.
Second Wind. There you go. Thank you, honey.
The
Thank you, Mr. Shark.
The voice from the other room came in, Sean.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were watching the video the other day. So.
And we said this the other day, but I want to remind everybody. I mean, there's a lot of ways to pick up these Billy Joel albums. Like a lot of them you can find for $7 to $12, $15, good condition, used. Don't shy away from these presses. It's the same. I think they're using the same plates they use for the box set. So these box sets sound
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So you really can't go wrong, whether it's OG or the box set, or if you really want something special, you can buy some of the Japanese presses. They sound great too.
And they're what, $20 to $30 unless it's a master sound.
Yeah. Yeah, they're Billy Joel's are some of the more affordable Japanese presses.
And I know Jake and Scott probably have a few of those in there.
I have a Stranger Master Sound. The Stranger Master Sound, and it sounds lovely. It's pricey, but it's worth every nickel.
Jake, somehow I got a Innocent Man Master Sound.
Good man.
5, 4, 3.
You need to get a Glass Houses sound.
I love that one.
I'll find one for you. Look, I'll find one for you, Scott, and I'll get it for you for Christmas. I'll be my Christmas.
You don't see that one around. I see the Billy Joel, so I don't see Glass Houses Master Sound.
Isn't there a 52nd Street there's a MoFi, right?
There's a Master
press of 52nd Street.
I don't know if I have a gold stamp promo of Glass Houses.
There you go.
I like that.
Oh wow.
There's no one has questions for us tonight. Do we have any questions for each other?
You stunned him with your brilliance, Sean. You quelled all opposition.
Yeah, because Greatest Hits was 85, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go, gold stamp promo.
That's what Scott's window is going to look like after this show ends when he throws his headphones.
Well, I mean, if you think about, you guys know what I like. I mean, this is the most straight ahead, just regular rock and roll record Billy Joel did. That's
I think what you liked about it, Scott. Right? Was the fact that it was just
you think it'll be an album on that 500.
Yeah, you may be right. It's still rock and roll to me. Sleeping with Television.
Look,
those are all.
I get where you're coming from because we've talked about this. Because I love Liberty DeVito and company. His band is solid, and when they're playing rock and roll, man, they are in tune. Like,
yeah. Well, I think that's why I would recommend to everybody, if you come to my show, I definitely am going to sell you one because I think I sell one every show. Song is in the Attic is a must-own record. Well, we put it in the live records, and it gives a lot of power to those older songs like Summer Highland Falls, Miami 2017. There's another one that's like Los Angelinos. Great, sound great on songs in that.
Yeah. So Stacy asks, what was your favorite thing you got for RSD? I'm still waiting for mine. I got them. They're coming. I haven't gotten them yet. I did get the Spinal Tap one, which was a great one-time listen, and now I have available for sale. But the Spinal Tap one was on 181 gram vinyl. And if you know Spinal Tap, you know why it's
181. That's hilarious.
It's one. So, because I mentioned that
211.
I mentioned that the other day, and no one got it for a while. It took a while, and they're like, "Oh,
I got it. I got it.
As I picked it up at the record store, I'm like, 181 gram.
That's hilarious.
This goes to 181.
That's classic.
So, it's also has Paul McCartney on it, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. It was and Elton John on that soundtrack too.
Well, I'm still calling out all my friends. I didn't get any RSD, but I am looking for the
Big Head Todd.
The Big Head Todd.
I got it, and it's coming. So those are my 2 RSDs. I'm stoked. I got Big Head Todd from Bruce. I asked everybody, and I got lucky. Bruce ran it, and there was one other guy that bid me up a little bit, but I still managed to get it for what I think Amy said she paid for it. And somebody said that after I got it, like several people came in asking for it. Yeah. So that was probably because Big Head Todd and the Monsters, they don't have really anything on wax. If anything, I think there's one record that they did like in 2017, 2018-ish that they might have done, but none of the earlier stuff until this RSD press. And I'm very excited about that. And then the band Jericho, I'm pumped about.
Yeah, I got the Billy Joel album, the Warren Zevon, because I need that. I got the Dylan, We'll see if I keep it. I don't know. I got the Dylan, and I got Linda Ronstadt.
Freewheeling, Sean? Freewheeling?
Yeah, I think that's the one that was the one.
So
With
I
the
didn't
missing tracks were added back in.
I didn't get anything, but I am intrigued by the OAR at Madison Square Garden. I think they
Maryland.
were an overlooked band, and they had a couple minor success, but I think they were fantastic. A '90s band that I thoroughly enjoyed. So I'd be intrigued to pick that one up. I've heard some people that have gotten it said it sounds great. I'm always hesitant on the live concert venue type recordings if it's going to sound good or not, and people have said it sounds good. So I'm going to see if I can find a copy of that.
Sherry?
Shattered is one of the best songs by them.
What's that?
Shattered, Turn This Car
Oh
Around.
yeah.
What a great song.
Terry, to answer your question, the reason why you don't see Storefront hardly on Wax is because that album came out in 1989 and CDs were pretty much like taking over. And I think a lot of it, I'm not going to say it was like limited. I'm sure they probably pressed, maybe, what do you think, guys? You think they maybe pressed 1 million copies?
Back then, I don't know, it's 89, and they were pushing CDs so hard. It did get pressed in 89 at Carrollton. There's a pressing, but
I have the OG.
I had two. I sold one.
Very hard OG to find. Very hard.
Yeah, I've got one left.
And there is the reissue, and that's a great press. So
sounds the reissue sounds spectacular.
So go look for that, and
I might get the reissue. I'll go and get it.
Yeah. So what's the next artist top 5?
So the next top 5 is going to be next week. I'm going to be presenting the top 5 James Bond theme songs. And that's going to be tough because there are 25 films that have been made. And there's a lot that's going to get thrown in the trash because I'm a big Bond guy. When I was a kid, Roger Moore was my favorite Bond because I loved his humor. But Roger Moore pretty much was the humorous Bond that slept with all the women. That was kind of his thing. Sean Connery was more of the suave. And as I've gotten older, I think Daniel Craig is my number 1 Bond, followed by Sean Connery. People don't give George Lazenby a shot.
I don't want you to do this because I was going to make an announcement. Not only are we going to do the top 5 Bond,
yes,
you're going to give your top 5 Bonds.
Okay, I'll do that.
We're going to rank them in order. That'll cause some consternation. I don't know. Everybody loves Connery, so
Sean Connery better be number 1. That's all I gotta say.
We'll see.
I will unfollow.
You'll be chirping away in the chat as you were with the Pearl Jam.
I think I'll be on the same page.
We'll see. I'm really.
That was Lyle. That was Lyle about Pearl Jam.
I'm very interested to see who we're going to have portray Bond moving forward. Daniel Craig, following Daniel Craig, filling those shoes is going to be tough because he really revived.
Uh-oh.
No, you're good.
Revived the Bond,
We're good.
Series.
All right. So Floyd Bundy, who I will point out, I think has been present for every episode, has made a top 5 request. Bob Seger. We will do Bob Seger in January. I promise you. Somebody will do Bob.
Okay. We may slip in a Christmas one coming soon, maybe.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. Well, let's talk about next week. Sean, I'll let you introduce who we have. I think they're closer friends of them
right.
well.
Next week, I am very excited to bring in one of the probably the one of the longest sellers on Whatnot, one of the most knowledgeable sellers on Whatnot, not just on what they normally sell, but Trin from Cap City Pop knows a lot about a lot of music. They specialize in Japanese presses of Japanese music, and they're going to be on with us. So if you've never been in their shows, they probably have the best listings ever of items in their store, and they know so much about what they sell, and they love so much about what they sell. And we're going to bring Audra and Trin on, and we're going to see what their top 3 albums are, and I'm sure it's going to be more in their wheelhouse. And we challenge you guys to check out some of their stuff, and we'll see what they bring for us that says that we need to own as an essential. Very excited about that.
Yeah, when you think about the music landscape, we were thinking, well, you see people in their shows buying those records. It's a subgenre, so I certainly don't know anything about it. I had Trent just pick me out a Japanese record last week, and I bought it based on his recommendation. So I think it's going to be fun. We're going to add a little bit of new flavor to the 500 Essentials. We're going to do the Bonds. We're going to do 2 top 5 Bond lists. That's exciting for Jake. He'll be telling Alexa to stream James Bond movie themes.
I've been doing it all week.
There you go. Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. I do have to. We need to thank Chris. He's always such a fun guy. He fits right in, meaning he doesn't take directions any better than we do. we
Only 3? Yeah, right. Okay, I think it means 4.
we have a good time, but I'm getting back when I go to his shows. I'm the one always chirping from the stands. So thank you, Chris, and thanks for the additions. You're always a good one to have on.
Appreciate it. It's always a blast, guys, and thanks for having me. And I'm always happy to be here if it works out. So thank you very much.
We love having you, man.
And so the other thing too is what we kind of like to tell you is where we're going to be this week on, I guess, Whatnot. So our guests, when are you on again?
So I'll be on Saturday this week, and then next week's going to be a little bit weird because we're getting ready to head out to go down to see Billy Strings in Austin. So it's going to be a little bit of a break in there, but I am doing a unique thing. It's going to be a private show for my top buyers, both in dollars and units. So I'm going to have some giveaway stuff for them and also some specific records I know that they've been looking for if I can find them. And just kind of tailor a show to my top 10 buyers to kind of just show, to thank them for their support, because I wouldn't be able to be doing it without those people. So
that's nice.
You one up to me, Patterson. I thought I had the best idea. So what I was doing the same thing for my top buyers. If there was a record they asked me to get, like I just held it back. And then this month I've been sending that in packages with them.
Nice.
Not even telling them, just it's on its way. So great idea. I might steal that next year.
Yeah, Cap City Pop does the same thing. We have a VIP lounge and they do a show with giveaways. It's a private show, but giveaways, and they find stuff that they know you'll like, and they've been doing that for a while now.
Oh, that's great. I just was trying to figure out a way just to say thank you, without it being in a big public show where they have to compete and fight, and just wanted to make it special specifically for them, and so I'll have regular stuff in there as well during that. But anyway, keep in mind for next year, all you buyers out there, come on back, because I'm going to try to keep it a tradition,
Yeah,
that's an interesting thing. I know I've talked to Jake before because we've looked at our top buyers list before. When you look at that, it's very humbling to realize who makes all this possible for you.
Yeah,
and it's usually like 15 people.
It used to be Gonzo for me when he was buying stuff from me.
That used to be me.
I was I mean, Scott was one of my top buyers, and then he left, vanished,
and then so tomorrow morning
started selling.
Got all the records.
Tomorrow morning, Jake is on tomorrow morning.
I am, yeah.
And anything exciting going on?
It's going to be a pretty chill morning. I'm still waiting for a shipment to come in. I don't think it's going to get in by tomorrow's show, but that's okay. I've still got plenty of stuff in the store. Probably do some giveaways. I'm going to start slowly thinning out a little bit of the PC, just stuff that, I haven't listened to in a while that I think maybe somebody would, have, some joy in wanting. So I'm going to slowly kind of pull some records out and get those loaded in the store and move those onward to somebody who'll get the enjoyment as I got the enjoyment out of them.
Cool. And then on Saturday we have Scott. What do you have coming up this weekend?
Well, I've been, for tax reasons, I have been buying a lot of inventory. I work on a cash basis, so inventory, I'd rather buy inventory than pay taxes. So Echo Waves Music will produce no net revenue this year. So I have a lot of Japanese presses. I think I've ballooned up to 440. I would not be surprised if by the time Saturday morning that there's not 500 Japanese press records in there.
But I think there's over 600 total, though.
Yeah, the sealed stuff. I don't even really mess with that, but it'll be going down. It is a little tax thing I do at the end of the year. Build your inventory, expense it, and then defer the revenue till the new tax year. So
Gotcha. And then, of course, I'll be on Sunday morning. Surprise! So I'll be doing my show Sunday morning. Every day this week, I've been getting new vinyl, some cool stuff. And then, of course, tomorrow I'll try to dig and maybe I'll find some stuff. And also, again, I still have some Japanese stuff that I'm going to be clearancing out, like a nice Stevie Ray Vaughan that you might want to buy. And I always try to find the weird and eclectic stuff, and hopefully I'll find a few things this week.
I've still got about 200 Japanese or so, and then a lot of affordable stuff kind of mixed in with that as well. And
then you have some heat too.
Huh?
You have some Grail stuff that
I do.
you
Yeah,
keep away stashing.
I do. There's a lot of stuff that I've got. There's a ton of stuff that I just haven't gotten to load yet in the store, but there's going to be some nice items that I'm going to take out of the collection and eventually get in there.
Cool.
And I will say this: there's a possible buyer for the final option, so we'll see how that.
Fingers crossed. Anyone here has $7,000, or maybe $8,000? If you can get someone to buy it from him for $8,000, he'll give you some money.
I do have the MoFi one step.
Santana.
I have the MoFi one step of Santana Abraxas.
What year was that?
What was that? I forget. 16.
It's a pricey MoFi.
It is a pricey one.
it's a nice sounding one though. It's one of the better sounding ones.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I saw you had this. This was my new edition. You have it actually back there too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're done.
One last plug. A sealed mud honey. If anybody's looking for an original sealed mud honey, it's the real deal. Sub Pop.
And if you buy a record, he'll give you a sticker of his head.
You get a beautiful Rush Records sticker.
Oh God, that's kind of scary.
Which it won't focus because of Fonzie's face.
Yeah. Okay.
There we
go. Good. I have some new stickers coming. I don't know when they come, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. They're pretty cool. And a slip mat to match.
Nice.
And I may even have a hat coming.
Somebody asked about if you're ever going to hit 50s records, and this isn't quite 50s, but it's in the genre. It's in the realm.
Yeah, I think we will have a couple 50s records.
We're really branching out and really making sure. I think Thomas wants a Mel Torme or Engelbert Humperdinck in there.
I think this guy should make it for sure.
Well, he's a pioneer.
Yeah, he's got to be in there somewhere.
Rhubarb.
Well, we had a Belafonte, so we did go back to the 50s, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, look, hey, you think about it, right? I mean, I got some 50 stuff that I definitely will present. Some good old rock and roll
too. Yeah. So yeah, I think so. I mean, we're not going to probably have 50 of them, but we're going to have 10, 15. Probably.
And also, guys, also message us if you think there's something that should be in there. Because again, we don't know everything. We pretend to know everything, but we know very little. We all know about this much, but maybe in different areas. And it's the same thing. You might know something about something we don't know that should be an essential.
I'm clueless.
Know what that is. You know what? I wouldn't. Whipped cream probably does deserve to be on there. Will it be? I don't know, but it deserves to be. I think.
All of you,
amazing musician.
That's such a great clock.
That's just an awesome clock, man.
The Cars one with the wrenches is even better.
Before we go, I do want to say, like, we're doing a lot of recaps of the 500 Essentials on Instagram. So help us get some followers over there. I mean, we're gaining. We're like 134.
Yeah, so click like and then share it, guys.
Yeah, share it out. Let's get a little more going. There's some great info over there, and we also do the top 5. So we recap the top 5s. We're trying to catch up because I wasn't originally doing this, so we got a lot of albums to catch up. But
yeah, we're old. It takes us a while to get into the social media.
Yeah, so help us out with that a little bit. I think Instagram is going to be the main place we use for social media. So.
And Sean, it was the 16. I just confirmed. 2016.
Cool.
I can see
Okay.
that perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, better or worse?
I
One or
got it
two?
Whatever's worse that's what it was.
Yeah. We didn't see any of that, but all right. All right. So I think that's it, guys. Unless you guys have anything else, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank Chris for hanging out with us, and thank you all for being here.
Yep. Thank you, chat. Everybody have a great rest of your day.
Have a great night, guys.
Peace.
Take care.
Peace out. Love y'all. Be good.
Bye.
All right.